A lot of us are trying to avoid criticism because it's painful. It sucks. It sucks when someone says, hey, you could have done this better. I don't like this, X, Y, and Z. And I understand why we're trying to avoid it. However, there is no way to avoid criticism. I hate to break it to you. There's no way to avoid criticism. If I do the thing that I want to do, somebody will have something to say. If I don't do the thing I want to do, somebody will have something to say. If I pass away and I'm no longer here, somebody will still have something to say. But does that mean that you should stop living your life because someone has something to say, or someone disagrees with what you're doing, or someone just doesn't like what you're doing? And I know it's painful. I know that, especially when it comes from someone you love, someone you cherish, someone you might hold in high regard. It really sucks when these people reject your thing. But sometimes we have to understand that sometimes it's not a rejection of us. We have to separate ourselves from what we make. And it's really hard as creatives to do that because we feel like, this is an extension of me. This is a part of me. But the truth is that this is something that I made and I like and to my taste, but my taste is not everybody else's taste. So some things we don't have to take so personally. We don't have to take it personally when somebody says, I don't really like that, right? Because we don't have the same taste. Just like with food. There are some foods that I love and that my other friends might not like. There are some foods that I enjoy that my other friends do not like. For example, we were talking about ramen noodles. Shout out to Marquita. And Marquita was telling me, my friend, was saying that she doesn't like ramen noodles. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how could you not like ramen noodles? Ramen noodles are everything. And she said that she likes ramen from shops, but not ramen from the packets. But for me, I grew up on ramen noodles. So I'm just like, you know what? I love ramen noodles. I like to add my own little spices, make it my own. But does that mean that it's a rejection of me because she doesn't like ramen noodles? No, that's not what that means. It just means that she has her own taste, her own ideas of what is good. And so do I. Neither one of us is wrong. We're just different. And I think that sometimes we have to separate ourselves from what we make, from what we put out in the world, from the videos we create. Some people might not like me because they don't like the sound of my voice. Some people might not like me because I have short hair or that I'm a Black woman. Like, who cares, right? Like, does that mean that I have to stop living my life because I don't fit everybody else's tastes? No. But the truth is that you fit somebody's taste. Somebody out there enjoys what you do. Somebody out there enjoys you, your voice, the way you look, the way you walk through life. Somebody out there enjoys you. And we should not stop living our lives or creating just because somebody doesn't approve of what we do and what we want. Now, I've said this before, and I do agree with this, that it's okay to care about what other people think. It's okay. We're human. We are human. I get it. We're communal people. We want to belong. We don't want to be ostracized. We don't want people to reject us. We don't want that. We want to belong. But sometimes different sections of our lives, like our art or our music or the food that we eat, it's all art. Like all these different sections of our lives, the sports we watch, the sports we enjoy, right? Some people might not like, I don't like watching sports. Not a big fan. Does that mean I don't like people who watch sports? No, it's just that we don't have to do that together. And there are some instances where we have to make the wise decision to realize, oh, this person is not going to appreciate what I'm doing, so let me not share that with them anymore, right? But I can share other parts of my life. You know what I mean? It's because if I care about what they think, and if they give me all this rejection and they're very critical of what I do, it's going to hurt my feelings and cause me not to make stuff. So I have to set boundaries for myself so that people cannot get that access to wound me in that way. Or I just have to make it known to myself, girl, we don't care about what they think. We care about what we think. We care about what we make. And so, yes. So criticism is a thing that just comes with life. Whether you take a left or a right, whether you are tall or short, whether you're skinny or heavy, it doesn't matter. It really does. People are going to have something to say. People will always offer their advice, offer their opinion, even when it's not solicited, right? People will always have something to say. We have to learn how to move forward anyway. And that takes work. It is difficult at first, but it is worthy of your time and effort, because once you reach a place where you're no longer so concerned with what other people say about you or criticisms, once you know yourself and value yourself, once you have your own taste and you know what you like, once you're solidified in that, it's harder for people to break you. It's harder for people to throw you off course because you've made in your mind where you're going. You're resolute now. You've made in your mind what you're going to do. Even with making videos, right? Like I was so caught up on sharing content and messing up and stuttering and fumbling over my words. Y'all gonna get these fumbles, y'all gonna get these stutters, because that's just who I am, right? And so I was like editing videos like so precisely and trying to cut off like where I mess up and all this stuff that really doesn't matter. All the stuff at the end of the day doesn't really matter. It makes me a person. People stumble over their words. People make mistakes. People, you know, when they're singing, sometimes they go flat, sometimes they go sharp, right? Unless they have like a perfect ear, right? Like sometimes people mess up. Does that mean you should hide that part of yourself and only put forth the perfect things? What I will tell you is only focusing on putting out perfect stuff will minimize the work that you create. Only focusing on putting out perfect content, perfect music, perfect art will literally hinder you. It will hinder you from making the art that you really want to make. It will hinder you from making the connections you really want to make. It will hinder you from being prolific because you're so caught up in trying to be perfect. We're not perfect over here. We are prolific, okay? Y'all can get all the things, right? All of me, all my art, all the things, because I know how I can get when I'm trying to be perfect, which is really just procrastination. I know how I can get when I'm trying to, you know, be really critical of myself and try to present myself in a way that is flawless, because the whole thing is I'm living a lie. I'm trying to present a lie. I am not flawless. I am flawless, but I am not flawless, right? Like there are things that I do in error. There are things that I do that I learned from, right? And so I think it's beautiful. I think that makes us human. I think that makes us relatable. So if you're getting caught up in trying to be perfect, have no fear. Do not fret. No one is perfect. Like everything we say, especially from like big name artists, it's curated. Feeds on Instagram, curated. And we're judging ourselves by these curated content, feeds, all these different things to say that, to invalidate ourselves. And it's not fair. We see the work that goes on behind the scenes. And I think that's why I'm very clear about showing my imperfections and showing my journey and the stutters and the fumbles and all these things, because I want people to free themselves from the need to be perfect. You do not have to be all put together to make an impact. You do not have to be perfect to heal somebody. You don't have to be perfect to love folks. You don't have to be perfect to make beautiful art. My favorite songs, and I've said this before, feels human, meaning my favorite songs have sharps and flats and their voice cracks a little bit and they're crying in their music. My favorite songs move me emotionally because it is human, because it's imperfect, right? Like my favorite stuff is imperfect. Nothing is perfect. Even, again, what we're looking at in our rooms, and I said this before, what we're looking at in our room, nothing is perfect. I'm sitting in a room where I know that the walls are not perfectly straight. I know, but it's livable. Like, it's fine. It doesn't have to be perfect to be good. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be. And a lot of us are not allowing ourselves to be, or allowing our art to be, to exist, because we're so caught up in trying to be perfect and trying to avoid criticism that's going to come anyway. Just like me, I just offered a criticism to perfect things. Imagine that. I don't like perfect things. I don't like perfection. I can't resonate with that. I don't feel that. I don't feel human in that. I can't connect with something that I am not, that I cannot see myself in, right? That's a criticism. So just imagine people who we think are perfect are going to criticize every single day. Every single day. So does that mean that their criticisms weigh more than the dreams you have for yourself? Should it? I don't think it should. I think you should go forth anyway, and you will find your people. When I post a video, people, every video I post, somebody has something to say. Somebody has something to say. It could be the most well-wishing video. I had a video thanking my patrons, for example. I was like, thank you, patrons, for your support, blah, blah, blah. People still thumbs down the video. And it wasn't even like, what? You're thumbs downing a video, me saying thank you to somebody for supporting me. Maybe they're criticizing the fact that I had patrons in the first place. I don't really care. It doesn't matter, right? Because the video wasn't even for them. It wasn't even for them. But they still felt a need to criticize me. Everything you do, somebody will have something to say. And while I recognize that we care about what people think, we really have to work through loving ourselves enough, choosing ourselves, trusting our own tastes, our own opinions, and taking constructive criticism from people, because there's another side to, you know, people being kind of in their way. Like, I don't want to hear any constructive criticism from anybody. Like, whatever. Like, no, like constructive criticisms comes with like, hey, I see what you're doing. I really love it. I think this will help enhance it, right? Or, you know, I see what you did there. Try this time. I really want to see you win, versus someone saying, she ain't nothing. Who she thinks she is. Those are two very different conversations. And we have to learn what is constructive and what is destructive. And destructive criticisms, destructive, you know, offerings and words, we don't listen to those. We throw those away. When I get a negative comment on here now, like, I just delete it. Girl, I ain't got time. If it's destructive, I delete it. But if someone is saying, hey, you know, I can't hear you in this video, maybe you can change the volume, that's different. Okay, great. Thanks so much for letting me know. I don't have to take offense to that. That's not offensive, right? That's someone trying to help me. Or if somebody's saying like, oh, I don't know. Like, you get what I'm trying to say. Constructive criticism versus destructive criticism. That's what we need to focus on. And the constructive stuff we can take in, we can consider, and also understand this. We don't have to do everything that people are offering us to do. We don't. Somebody might suggest that you do something that is just not in your wheelhouse to do, or that you don't want to do. You don't have to do what you don't want to do, right? You can say, thank you so much for that consideration. I will consider it and move on, and then decide that you're not going to do it. You know what I mean? So again, the only way to avoid criticism is to not exist, to not have exist in the first place, to be an unborn person. like literally the only way to avoid criticism is to not exist. Because once you come out that womb, you are criticized for something. Somebody has something to say. And I know that criticisms can be painful, it can be crippling, but understand that your worth is not tied to other people's criticisms of what you do. Your worth is not tied to other people's criticism. You are worthy, you are born worthy, you're born enough, you're born loved. Take up space, walk in the world like you belong here, because you do. You belong here. There are so many things that you have not experienced yet because you're afraid of being yourself. The beauty of being yourself. There's so many people who have not been touched by you yet because you're afraid of being yourself. They're waiting for you. Walk through life with open arms, expecting goodness, because you are worthy of goodness. I was afraid of doing things because I didn't want to be criticized. What I found is that people were so supportive. People were so kind and generous, and they still continue to be. They still can continue to be so kind. We're taught to fear everything. We're taught that the world sucks. And while a lot of parts of the world do suck, right, there's still beauty in it. There's so much beauty that is untapped because we're not willing to take that first step, to choose bravery, to choose ourselves, to see ourselves as worthy, to take up space. Take up space. Criticisms will come. They will come. I can't lie to you. They will come. But you know what else will come? Support, generosity, love, respect. Both of them. And the goodness does outweigh the bad things. Even though the bad things sound the loudest and they hurt the worst, right? Like they pierce through all the noise. I literally have to delete comments because I'm trying to focus on the goodness, on the constructive things, not the destructive things. So please take heart, be brave, be courageous. Courageous does not mean you are not afraid. Courageous means you're doing the thing in spite of fear, in spite of, trepidation, in spite of not knowing what's going to happen next, but doing the thing anyway. Take it one step at a time and take up space. You were put here to take up space, because if you weren't, you wouldn't be here. You're here to take up space, to make a noise, to make a mark. You're here. You're here. What a gift. You're a gift. You're a gift to us. You are here. So take up space. I love you. I see you. And I will talk to you in the next video.